I think that's what I'm going to use my mic for moving forward. Is basically just for that. Get it up like this. You guys get it. You guys get it. Close game. I don't think it matters anymore that they're close games or not. I got to be honest with you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Close game. Lakers over the Raptors, 132-131. Literally don't think it matters anymore how close these games are. They just got to get W's. Lakers found a way to get it tonight. Until they start figuring some stuff out, I'm actually not mad at how close the game was. Looks like a win. Let me just get some people on this here. He's happy when they win. I think that's referring to me. He needs some. Let's see what we got. Good W. Let's go. I'll drink a pint to that. So we got a lot of people early on. I'm forgetting everybody that's getting in early while I'm doing some of my own research and grabbing some of this stuff and, listening to interviews and everything else. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Lakers over the Toronto Raptors. Got a lot to get into tonight. Good stuff tonight. It ain't pretty. Toronto's actually, I think, a lot better of a team than that record indicates. And again, it's not pretty. It's not pretty all the time by any stretch of the imagination. But to be completely honest with you, I don't think that that's the most important thing right now, that these wins got to be pretty. But here's what we're going to do tonight. We'll talk about no style points. Just do your thing and play. I'll spend some time talking about Anthony Davis's performance, how clutch he was from the free throw line. Hits 13 to 14 free throws, hit 11. I think it was 11 in a row in the fourth quarter. 7 players in double figures for the Lake Show, so we'll talk about that. I'll spend some time talking about the Phoenix Suns, who are sitting now at 19-18 on the season. And then Brian Windhorst, a little bit earlier today, talked on what the Lakers' plan is for the trade deadline. So we're going to get into all that. But let's get into the Lakers and the Raptors. So real quick here, as I kind of go into my own little world here on the game, I want to properly put this. I think right now Lakers are in a position where just go get a win. We'll figure out everything else later. Just walk away with a win. Because they could have lost that game to the Clippers. Could have, right? Clippers shot poorly. Give Lakers credit. I think Clippers shot under 40% from the field. Kawhi was under 50%. PG, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Norman Powell. Nobody shot well for the Clippers. And then they played yesterday and they dropped 138 on the Phoenix Suns. Okay, maybe Lakers got lucky against the Clippers. Does that matter? I don't think it matters. How you win, right now, if you're the Lakers, who went through a streak where they had won 3 of 13 games, I don't think style points really matter right now. Take the game tonight against the Toronto Raptors. That wasn't perfect. Lakers giving up 131 points on defense is certainly not ideal. How about this for the Raptors? Every quarter, they scored more. They scored 24 in the first quarter, 29 in the second quarter, 36 in the third quarter, and 42 points in the fourth quarter. So every single quarter, the Toronto Raptors were scoring more points. And they had guys going off. Scotty Barnes dropped 26. Pascal Siakam dropped 25. RJ Barrett gave him 23. Emmanuel quickly, before he fouled out, gave them 21. Gary Trent Jr., I thought, hit some big shots, had 14 points. I could sit here and really kind of critique the win, let's call it. I can kind of go out of my way and say, you know what, that's not good enough. You know what, if they're going to go be a team that's in contention in the Western Conference, you can't play like that against Toronto. I can do that. I don't want to do that. I genuinely think, as of right now, just find ways to win. They found a way to win. There were a couple of moments in that game against the Raptors tonight that I thought, I don't think it's going to happen tonight. Toronto went up by 6. I want to say Gary Trent Jr. hit a 3, and you thought, I'm like, that could be not the dagger because there was still plenty of time left, but that could take that 6-point lead to 8 or 9, and I don't know if the Lakers are coming back from that. And the next possession down, Braun finds Anthony Davis. AD hits a big 3. And it kind of kept the Lakers in it, kept it a one-possession game. Lakers did just enough to just stay in the game. I think it was Taurean Prince that hit a 3-2 to tie the game. So I go back to this. I'm not watching Lakers basketball right now and bitching and complaining about a lot of things. I'm just trying to find a way to see, can the Lakers just stack a W, get back to 500, be 19-19, and have a chance against the Phoenix Suns on this 5-game homestand to go 3-2. That's the only thing that I'm really paying attention to. So as far as the game tonight, there's a couple different reasons why the Lakers won the game, and there's no bigger reason of why they won the game than Anthony Davis. I think I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. The first time that you're a part of the channel, thank you for joining, and maybe some of this stuff is new to you. If you've been on this channel for a long time, or you follow me after every game, or listen to any of the radio stuff that I'm doing, I'm pretty consistent with certain things. Anthony Davis is, I mean, tonight alone, but I'll talk about him big picture. AD had 41 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists tonight. He shot 13 of 17 from the field tonight. He was 13 of 14 from the free throw line, and I thought I read a tweet here from Mike Trudell that he was 11 of 11 from the free throw line in the fourth quarter, and finished, obviously with 41 points. If Anthony Davis was on a team, because right now this is not who the Los Angeles Lakers, they're a 19-19 team, they're a 500 team. If the Lakers were actually living up to some of their expectations so far this year, hypothetically, if they were top 3 or top 4 right now in the Western Conference, if they were 7, 8, 9 games over 500, something along those lines, we would be talking, and the NBA would be talking about Anthony Davis as a legitimate candidate for most valuable player, or just at least in the conversation. He'd be in the conversation for most valuable player. The problem with Anthony Davis this year is that his team's not performing at a good enough stage, that the team is not, top 3 in the Western Conference and 10 games over 500. And it's because this Lakers team is not. That's why Anthony Davis is not a part of that chatter about the MVP. Now, you heard the crowd, which was kind of cool, right? You hear that a lot for LeBron James predominantly. It's pretty cool to hear the crowd all chanting at the end, MVP, as AD steps up to the free throw line and is shooting free throws like a point guard or like a shooting guard. I mean, incredibly, incredibly clutch. No margin for error against the Toronto Raptors tonight. There wasn't. You basically had to hit every one of those free throws in the fourth quarter. I mentioned that Toronto scored 42 in the fourth. Lakers scored 44. So clearly defense was not a priority for either one of these teams. But AD was stepping to the free throw line. He was handling business. They were going to him early. As soon as Thaddeus Young subbed out, they went great Gary Trent Jr. And I get the idea and the concept of the Toronto Raptors. We need offense. We're down by 5. But you knew that Anthony Davis was going to feast. He did. He got the block on Scotty Barnes towards the end there. That's what makes Anthony Davis so special. He's the best player on the floor 99% of the time on the defensive side. And 90% of the time, he's the best offensive player, whatever you want to put, whatever percentage that you want to put. But my point is that he's having that type of a season. He's been incredible this year. He really, really has been incredible this year. Where he gets scrutinized the most is availability. He's missed 2 games this year. So he's there every single night. He's producing on both sides of the floor. And really the only argument that I would have for Anthony Davis is he's not getting enough help. That's the only argument that I would have for Anthony Davis, is that there are not enough players around him giving him what he needs to help the Lakers win on a more consistent basis. And I'm more predominantly talking about the role players. I'm not telling you. I'm not trying to sit here and make a case for you that Anthony Davis is the best player in the NBA. That's not my point. My point is that the Lakers, if they were the team we thought they were going to be before the season started, and maybe they still eventually become that, they have a long way to go, then Anthony Davis would be in the MVP chatter. He'd be one of those top 5 players that's considered for an MVP right now, but you can't when your team is 19-19. But his performance night in and night out is good enough to be in that conversation if the Lakers were better. So Anthony Davis, bravo to him. 41 points, 6 assists. I mentioned to you the clutch free throw shooting by him. I thought was big time. Okay, let me read off some of your guys' comments, and then I'm gonna get back into it. All right, Lakers haters, stop crying. It's done, and we got the W. So I'm assuming some people were not crazy about how the Lakers won. Listen, I'm much more in that conversation. I am much more in the hey, this isn't good enough, but later. I'm much more in that conversation when the Lakers are fighting in the NBA standings. I'm much more in the conversation where maybe you're getting a little bit closer to the playoffs. Like that conversation I'm down for. I'm just not down for it right now. They were reeling for almost a month. So any kind of wins that you can get, I think that's the only thing that really matters right now. I really do. I'm not paying any more attention to anything else other than that. Okay, we got another one. AR, W is a W. Slee, thanks for the show. AR, thank you for the super. I greatly appreciate it. This kind of goes back to my style points. You don't need style points right now. You're going to eventually need style points. You just don't need them right now because if the Lakers lost this game 132-131, everybody's going to be bitching and complaining that the Lakers lost, that now it's 4-11 in their last 15 games. Not to say that, 5-10 is a humongous difference, but kind of feels like it is a difference. So wherever you can get a win, just get the win. AR, thank you for the super. If you throw in a super, 100% going to get read. You don't have to feel obligated to do it. I'll do my best to get to some of your chats, but as you guys can tell, there's a lot of comments that come into the show. If you do send a super, I do read it. All right. Paco, thank you for the super there. I appreciate it, brother. Brother, collab with Dan, the Laker fan. It's funny. I should do some more stuff with more people who are consistent on YouTube. I'll try to do that. It's not a terrible idea. I appreciate a lot of these people's grind and hustle and rolling up their sleeves and just being authentic Laker fans. So he certainly does that. Okay, let's get let me get to a couple of the things that I want to get into here real quick. So I already mentioned, and I went through some of the Anthony Davis stuff. I will say that what AD is doing, we kind of have no choice. He's got to keep doing it. Okay, I want to see some things. Raptors fans are losing it right now. Haven't seen anything like this for a while. Let me throw it from my perspective. And I'm not surprised they're losing it. Let me tell you where I'm going with this. Free throw shooting, Lakers took 36 free throws to Toronto's 13 free throws. Lakers won this game because they lived at the free throw line. Lakers were plus 20 from the free throw line. I didn't see the quotes, so if there are some quotes out there, and you guys want to put them in the chat, feel free to, and I could read them off for the show, but I did not see the quotes. If they are from the coach of the Toronto Raptors, I did not see them. And I'll try to look for them on Twitter, but I do not see anything here. So, we'll see if anything else comes up. But I get I get any fan base where you have one team shoot 20 more free throws than the other. Of course, they're going to be upset. Like they are. I understand that. I thought Lakers got a little bit fortunate on some calls. I thought there were some 50-50 calls that lean the Lakers' way more times than not. Probably some no calls that the Raptors didn't get, but what do you want me to tell you? It's part of the game. The 20 free throws total, I understand that portion of it. Usually, typically, if the Toronto Raptors, if you thought they weren't that aggressive or if you thought they were just living from the outside, I'd understand it. But Toronto was pretty aggressive tonight. I was actually very impressed with their play. Them getting RJ Barrett and Manuel quickly, I don't think Pascal Siakam is going to be staying there much longer. I really don't. I don't think many people do because he's in the final year of his contract. I don't think they would offer him the money that he's looking for. So he's looking to get traded. But I think some of the stipulations are going to be if he gets traded, he wants an extension with whoever's going to trade him. And he's going to want to play wherever he is. So the Siakam piece of it, I think, will be interesting when the dust settles. But Toronto's definitely has some talent. I want to go through a little bit of all right, here's what we got one. Bucky, Raptors head coach may say the game was rigged for us. He'll probably get fined. He's pissed. I'm not surprised. It's actually kind of funny. I was thinking about that, and I saw when one of the interviews was going on. I think Trudell was interviewing Anthony Davis, and I was looking at the box scores, and I'm like, damn, 20 more free throws. Yeah, that's a lot more free throws, and I get it. That's his job to complain and bitch about that. Like that's part of his job is to make sure, even if nothing happens, that his players feel like, all right, he's got their back and he's standing up for them. Something happened tonight, and I guess when you drop 132 points, this should happen. Something happened tonight with the role players for the Lakers. So AD got his 41 and 11, no big deal. 6 assists on top of that. That's what Anthony Davis does. LeBron, who I'm probably not going to talk too much about tonight, had 12 dimes. So that's a great night. 12 assists for LeBron James. That's fantastic. He went 22 and 12. And I thought had, obviously big moments. He had a stage in the game. What was that, in the third quarter, where I felt like he just kept driving to the basket, getting to the free throw line, pushing and bullying some of the Raptors players. So he had some moments certainly in this game, but the 12 dimes is a fantastic number. But 7 players in double figures. It's a lot of buckets. It's a lot of guys contributing. And I'll go through some of the guys that did it. Taurean Prince, that's 2 games in a row. He shot 50% from the field, hit a couple clutch shots, couple clutch threes. He had 11 points. He had a couple steals. Keep going. I'm going to stay in the starting lineup and keep going. Cam Reddish gave you 13 tonight. Took an ugly elbow to the chin. I thought that was tough. It seemed like a natural basketball move. Listening to Stu and Billy Mack, I thought they were leaning more towards it was a natural move, but the NBA didn't see it that way. Saw an elbow and gave Cam Reddish 2 free throws, and Cam Reddish only ended up playing 23 minutes in the game. But I thought when he was in there, was not hesitating on his threes. Cam Reddish hit 4 3-pointers for the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. 4. I thought Stu said something that was such a good point during the broadcast. He was talking about how he's not overthinking. He's not, hesitating on his 3. Hey, if I'm open, I'm firing. And that sounds like somebody within the team is telling him that. Maybe that's LeBron giving him the green light. Maybe that's Darvin Ham giving him the confidence. But it doesn't look like, and trust me, if anybody has played the game of basketball, you hesitate on taking the shot, there's a very good chance you're going to miss that shot. So sounds like they're in his ear about, hey, if you get a good look, take it. Just as long as it's a good look. Hit 4 threes for the Lakers. So you had Taurean Prince shot 50%. You got Cam Reddish, took 7 shots, hit 4 of 6 from the 3-point line. He had 13 points. Let me keep going down the list here because I think there was other guys that were impressive. Christian Wood, that's 2 games in a row for Christian Wood that we're talking about him here after the game, and we're talking about him positively. He played 24 minutes for the Lakers, seemed to be getting a little chippy with some of those players of the Toronto Raptors. I couldn't tell. Is he just getting chippy because he's got D'Angelo Russell's back and D'Lo and RJ Barrett are talking trash to each other, or D'Lo and Dennis Schroeder are talking, trash to one another, or was Christian Wood just super, super engaged in this game and had a little bit of a chip on his shoulder? But in 24 minutes, he had 14 points. I thought D'Angelo Russell ended up with 11 points and 5 assists, shot 50% from the field. He had looked like a little bit of a personal moment. Maybe it was with Dennis Schroeder. Maybe it was RJ Barrett. I don't know what it was, but he was engaged. There was definitely some chirping going around. I've said this before. The Bruce Brown game they had against the Indiana Pacers when he used to play back in the days with the Nuggets. I would spend some time. I remember even having a conversation and kind of highlighting this, that I like that D'Lo was taking things personal. Wish he would take things a little bit more personal. They need him. I had Dan Weike on from the LA Times today in the pregame show, and Dan and I were talking with Michael Thompson, and Dan was talking about just how important D'Lo is for the Lakers offensively. They need that from him. They need aggressive D'Angelo Russell. And he had 11 for the Lakers. Austin Reeves chipped in with 11 points and 7 assists. Not a good game for Austin. Did hit a couple, clutch free throws. Got a foul call towards the end there. That was clutch for him as well. But he was only 3 of 10, 1 of 6 from 3. Austin Reeves has not looked good in these last couple of games. But that's 7 players in double figures. That means AD, who did drop 41, and LeBron did give 22 and then another 12 assists. 18 assists and 63 points between those two players. They also got some help. And I think everybody, understands and knows this, that if the Lakers are going to win some of these games, they're going to need they're definitely going to need multiple guys contributing. Okay. Let me read some of your comments here real quick. Cam took a nasty elbow. He did. That was a natural basketball move. I thought so too. Let's see what else we got here. Wouldn't be surprised if Reddish was, man, some of these guys can't stay healthy. They just can't stay healthy. It's not his fault. It's nobody's fault. But that elbow, that hit him. Wood is the key. Christian Wood is the key. Helps when he's in there. Woods is playing great as of late. A lot of people giving love to that. Sliwa is on the fix tonight. How much did you get, Slee? A lot. I got a lot, man. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Christian Wood is doing his part. I will say that a lot of Christian Wood love, and there should be. He's had 2 good games, and they needed him. I know I don't want to make it sound like beating the Toronto Raptors is the biggest deal in the world, but I don't think I need to. I think I just need to mention that the Lakers are desperate for wins right now, and they got 2 wins in the last 2 games, and they literally need these wins like no tomorrow. So as long as they're getting them, that's all that matters, and they got them. I'll complain later about style points. I don't want to do it right now. Underdog Fantasy, a proud partner of all the work we're doing here on Hoops Talk. Very, very appreciative of the partnership that I have with Underdog Fantasy. Use my code HoopsLA. So just to give you an idea what that is, there's a lot of daily fantasy sports sites that are out there. For this channel, we partnered with Underdog Fantasy. And what Underdog Fantasy is doing, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. So if you go in and you sign up, it's the first time you ever use the website, or you put in an email address that has not been used through Underdog Fantasy before, and you put in $50. Cool. They'll match it. So you'll have basically $50 free to play with. Or you put in $25, you'll have $25 free to play with. Or you put in $100, you have $100 free to play with. I'm going to show you guys two guys that I got going up tomorrow. We'll get your guys' thoughts on that. But you got to put my code in HoopsLA. Helps the channel because the channel gets credit when you put that code in. And then the incentive to put that code in is, like I mentioned, you get that $100, you get that 100%, the first deposit match of up to $100. So keep that in mind here. This is what I do. I do pick'ems, I do pregame, I do NBA. I had all these choices of which games to take. I already picked my game. I did OKC at Miami. I just kind of liked it. I think the matchup's kind of good. We've seen how good Miami is. OKC, NBA.com did a new power rankings. They put OKC as the number one team in the NBA. That was interesting, but that's how high they think of Shai Gilgeous and that team. So here are my two guys that I selected. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All you got to pick is higher or lower than 33.5 points. I'm going lower because it's Miami's defense. I got Bam Adebayo. Higher or lower than 22.5 points, I got higher. I put my bet in, which is $20. I hit play. I hit confirm, and I'm done. All right, I got to do it again. Nah, I'll take care of that part. I'll do it again. But you guys see my picks right here. Shai, Bam, I go lower. I go higher with Bam Adebayo. I submit my picks, and it's literally that easy. Use the code HoopsLA. I appreciate you guys sticking around for that and supporting the partner. Okay. Next game coming up for the Lakers. So you go look at the standings right now, and for the Lake Show, they're taking on the Phoenix Suns. They've already beat the Phoenix Suns a couple times this year. I feel like between the preseason and the regular season, I feel like the Lakers have played the Phoenix Suns 11 times this year. They've already beat them twice. So another opportunity for the Lakers against the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix has basically looked very average all year. They're sitting at 19-18 on the season. They played the Clippers yesterday and gave up 138 points last night to the Los Angeles Clippers after the Lakers beat the Clippers the night before, and they only had 103 points on the Lakers. But Phoenix struggling a little bit. And I'm looking at their schedule right now. They've lost 3 of their last 4, 2 of those games against the Clippers, 1 of those games against the Grizzlies. The only win that they have is against the Heat, go figure. So they're a little up and down. They're not a consistent team. They don't look that good. So I think it's kind of interesting seeing both of these teams because both of these squads definitely, there was a lot of hype around both of them coming into the season. KD, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, they're all there now. So this is the first time the Lakers will play that team with all 3 of those players. I feel like Lakers play good against teams like this that have some stars but play more isolation basketball. They're not necessarily running up and down the floor. I feel like Lakers, when they could set their defense, they're tough to score on. When guys are just trying to play one-on-one basketball, the Lakers are more difficult to score on. So I'm not, I think this is going to be a good game. Against both teams are playing very average, if not below average, like the Lakers have been. But they've already beat the Phoenix Suns twice this year, and they're healthy. So they're all there. KD, Yusuf Nurkic, Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen, Devin Booker. That's their starting lineup. So that's the next game coming up for the Lake Show, which is always fun. All right. I got some comments here that I got to catch up on. Barometer game against the Suns, Lee. I don't know, Mateo. I don't know if that's a barometer game only because I don't know how good the Suns are. I really, really don't know how good the Suns are. I don't really kind of I don't hold them very high. I just don't hold them very high. Okay, let's do this real quick. Let's do a little roll call. So if you guys want to, I'll do my best to try to get to you of a quick little shout out. So let me know where you're tuning in from, and I'll do that. But there is one other topic that I want to get into before we get out of here. And I'll read some of your for roll call. If you haven't been on here before, just tell me where you're tuning in from. I'll give you guys a shout out, whether it's the city, the state, the country, doesn't matter. I'll do my best to get to them. Something to keep in mind too: the Lakers and the Suns game. So one squad's 19-18, the other squad's 18-18. So if you're looking at the standings very early on, like I am, I just happen to do it, and maybe I just do that because this is what I do for a living. But I'm curious, where the Lakers are. Here's the good news with the Lakers. These last couple wins, all these teams in front of them have some L's. All right, let me see this real quick. Oh yeah, Darko's losing it. Oh, he's losing it. Coach of the Raptors. I'm listening to it right now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's losing it. Yeah, he's losing it. Darko, the coach of the Toronto Raptors. I'm listening to it for the first time. Mark Medina, who does a fantastic job covering the Lakers, put the video out. Spectrum Sportsnet was just pointing it out. I want to see if I could see some of this video here, and if he put it out. Oh yeah. All right, let's take a quick listen here. Give me 1 second, Laker fans. Turn the volume up. Remember last post game show where? All right. Uh, uh, okay, I don't know if you guys can. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Let me find where it is, and then I'll play it here. Me 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I'm going to do this on the fly here, trying to get that audio. So give me 2 seconds, and I'm going to get it. But the coach of the Toronto Raptors is losing his what. I'm going to go back to this. Listen, I could still be. It doesn't matter that I'm a Lakers fan, and this is obviously a post-game show focused on Lakers basketball. We could tell it how it is. So let me find. I don't know why the audio was playing here before I even hit it. So. Okay, let me share my screen, and I'm going to play this here real quick. This is off Mark Medina's Twitter.
The referee is a shame for the league to allow this. 23 free throws for them, and we get 2 free throws in the fourth quarter. Like how to play the game. I understand respect for all stars and all that, but we have star players on our team as well. How's possible that Scotty Barnes, who is all-star caliber player in this league, he goes every single time to the rim with force and trying to get to the rim without flopping and not trying to get foul calls. He gets 2 free throws for the whole game. How's that possible? How are you going to explain that to me? They had to win tonight? If that's the case, just let us know so we don't show up for the game. Just give them a win. But that was not fair tonight. And this is not happening first time for us. Scotty Barnes is going to be all-star. He's going to be the face of this league. And what's happening over here during whole season, I've been holding it back. It's a complete crap.
Coach, do you feel like you're getting any explanations at all?
Okay. All right, I got a couple things here. Shout out to Mark Medina, by the way. I'm getting that from his Twitter. I got a couple comments on that. I haven't got a chance to hear it, so I heard people say he was losing his shit. Well, he was definitely losing his shit. I got no problem with it. So I just, to be honest with you, as a fan of the NBA, I like when coaches. There's some theater in there. I think that I think part of him, there's probably a strategic. I'm sure he walked into that locker room after the game, and there were some players that were pissed off. And there were some players that felt like they got kind of a raw deal. Maybe you want to put it that way. Lakers shot 20 more free throws. Oh, I'm sorry. They made 20 more free throws. They shot 23 more free throws than the Toronto Raptors. I get it. I understand it. I understand that if your players feel a certain way, they want to make sure that their coach feels the same exact way. So there's some theater in there. I think there's some theater there from the Toronto Raptors head coach, but I don't mind it. He's got a case to make. His case is they took 23 more free throws than us. They made 20 more free throws than us. They're plus 20 from the free throw line, and the Toronto Raptors lost the game by 1. Okay, don't even count that last shot that went in. Who shot that? Gary Trent, whoever shot that, or Siakam, whoever shot that last. Let's say they lost by 4 points, something like that. But there are certain moments for coaches where, especially when they got a young team like the Toronto Raptors, they want to feel a certain way. They want to feel like that you have the players back. So I get what he was doing. I was already reading some of the comments. There were a lot of people sitting there saying that, this guy looks like an idiot. He looks stupid. He's blowing this out of proportion, whatever everyone was saying. I actually don't agree with that. I think if you flipped this and the Toronto Raptors shot 23 more free throws than the Lakers and they were plus 20 from the free throw line, and there were some plays that you felt like, okay, hey, that's a questionable call. If you're giving it to them on that side, why aren't you giving it to us on this side? Let's just flip it for a second. Let's say Darvin Ham was in the exact same position and the Lakers were in the exact same position. You guys as Laker fans don't want to hear your head coach saying, I'm about to get fined. Fine. Maybe even passing by Rob Pelinka. Tell Jeannie to get that checkbook ready because we're all going to share in the fine that I'm about to get. But I'm going to lay in because that's what my players want me to do. See what I'm saying? That I think I get where they're coming from. Let's just leave it at that. And I understand where it's come from. Is there some theater to it? But here's what's going to happen. That clip's going to be played all day tonight. Tomorrow when you're tuning in, I know we're going to play it on our radio show in the morning, right? Of course we are. All the national shows are going to play it. All the local sports talk shows. Toronto's going to be all over it. So I think the strategy is actually a smart strategy for him. And again, he's got a case to be made that was really lopsided from a free throw perspective. And if you do flip it, I would like to see Darvin Ham do something similar in his own style, his own way. I'd like to see the same thing if that was flipped over. All right. That's what I got there. Refs cheating Braun on his birthday. You're right. Got the toenail on the line in Minnesota. Listen, I don't think anything is. I don't think there's a fix in. I don't, but I just don't believe in that stuff. So maybe I'm not the guy. Santa Clarita, Marcus, Lakers have beaten the Suns. Has it been 3 times this season? They've already played 3 times. This is going to be the 4th time they've played. You might be right. My apologies, man. I feel like the Lakers have played them 35 times so far this year. Okay. Let me get a couple shout-outs here. Let's see what we got here. Got a lot of good comments here tonight. Rochester, New York, thank you for being a part of the show. By the way, I still got one other thing that I want to get into. Brian Windhorst says something on NBA Today about the Lakers and their strategy at the NBA trade deadline. I want to do that. Let me just get through some of these roll calls here real quick. University of Newcastle, Australia, thank you for tuning in. DC in the house. New York City, Temple City, Atlanta, Austin, Denver. I love the variety. Everybody, people from everywhere. Cal State Fullerton in the house. Thank you. Somebody moving to Pennsylvania soon. Crenshaw in the house. Thank you for being a part of the show. El Monte. Zimbabwe in the house. Thank you very much. Athens, Greece in the house. Thank you very much. Fresno. Guam. Brandon in Newport trying to get some pickup games going. I will tell you this, Brandon. Kind of been getting that since COVID. I basically played no pickup basketball. Kind of starting to get a little bit of an itch again. San Diego State University in the house. My alumni right there, San Diego State. Anaheim in the house. Thank you for tuning in. All right, what else we got here? Estonia, always appreciate it. New York, Athens, Greece, with the invite. Thank you very much. If I miss you guys, my apologies. My apologies there. Jaron from St. Louis, New Zealand in the house, Perth, Washington. Okay, I want to get into this last topic that I want to get into that I mentioned. So Brian Windhorst was talking about the Lakers' plans for the NBA trade deadline. And let me find the tweet here. Already have it here. Okay. Share the screen here. So basically, I'm going to read the quote, and this is from Brian Windhorst. The Lakers don't want to have to make a big move. They prefer to retain their depth and the one last first rounder they've allowed or they're allowed to trade. They believe in the formula they have, which is a cadre of long defenders supporting future Hall of Famers. To simplify, what he's saying there is they like what they have, probably to an extent. It sounds like some of it, I guarantee you, is true. They'd like to not trade that first rounder. They do like the depth and the wings and the length that they have. But the other portion of it is this. Ultimately, at the end of the day, the Lakers are, no question about it, under a lot of pressure to compete this year. LeBron's 39, 21st season. Nobody has any idea how many more years he has under his belt. He's got a player option, by the way, at the end of this year. These next 30 days are going to tell you hopefully they're going to tell you what the Lakers' holes are, what exactly they need, what players are expendable, what players you should keep, and what players are available in the market and what those players cost in the market. I think there was something last year that was very glaring. You knew that Russell Westbrook had to go. You knew that contract had to go. You knew that the Lakers, that just the fit wasn't there. It wasn't vibing. You knew all that. This year, it's a little bit more difficult to know what is it that the Lakers exactly need. AD's been great. Bron's been there every game. How the hell do they just start winning some of these games and get into some type of consistency? And they have not been able to do that. So we're going to have to find out here, obviously, in a short window, in a short period of time, how the Lakers are going to fix all these things in less than 30 days now. The trade deadline is February 8th. We're, 40 minutes away from being at February 10th or January 10th. So we don't have all that much time left to figure it all out. Okay, Lake fans, that's all I got tonight.